Well, it seems that the new year has come. This speech will be talking about parts of the previous video that I uploaded, which was my end of year speech, and then there will be elements talked about in this video relating to things that have happened, particularly something that happened to me yesterday prior to this new year, or the coming of the new year. I decided that I would see what happens if I record it simply on the moment, although there might be a minor tidbit of information that's available to me from the video that I made before. And that is, I would use this video as a calculator. It seems to me that maybe some devices can be used simply as calculators rather than seeing it as a device itself. And so, if a calculation can be used, then it can benefit everyone. Calculation in the future may be not the same as what we think it really is today. It may not equal itself. It may not be congruent to itself. This is a thought I just had. Incongruence is the word. Religions tend to be incongruent with each other, but that doesn't mean that they disagree with each other. Certain statements can be incongruent to other statements, such as the statement of, there is one God, therefore there are multiple gods, or there are multiple gods, therefore there is one God. This is an incongruence, this is a conflict of incongruency, if you like to call it that. And so, if you have congruent and incongruent, and in the middle, incompatibility, then you have interference, incompatibility. And then you have, obviously, as I said, congruence and incongruence. And I would like the next year to be congruent with everything that came before it the previous year, the year prior to this, 2018, as it is now, of course, 2019, not to forget. It is by English time, the 1st of January, which I'm quite happy with. I wanted to see the comparison between making a video before and after to see if there are any signals or interferences. It seems that the signal that has appeared is a signal of congruence or incongruence. As I've said, I think making this video and allowing my thoughts to come out in their own developmental terms, in their own development, sphere of development, allows me to reflect on the video as I'm doing it, so that I know whether what I'm saying, the content of it, is correct according to my desires to take on head-on certain challenges. These challenges being informational challenges that I want to occupy myself with dealing with the problems on the spot, so that it's honest to the information flow, and also because I didn't upload this straight away upon the new year, which means the problem that I was trying to solve prior to this is the same problem now, but I've delayed it and re-uploaded it in terms of doing it in a different style, which is to allow my thoughts to elaborate themselves over a small period of over a shorter period of time, flowing and streaming, free-flowing. So back to this congruence and incongruence, and similar to how I looked at the Bible last time and then reflected upon my own thoughts, or what I thought the energy was that was coming from the Bible. This time it is actually that I was told, I didn't realise this at the time, I knew that it was coming because I knew that this would happen, is that I said the phrase from the Quran that is, there's only one supreme power, and that this is actually one way of admitting yourself into the religion, which is fine, because I'm not averse to taking on different things at once. So it's multitasking. That's all it is. My problem with multitasking is the problem of not being able to solve multiple problems at once and having to envelop myself in the problem instead. Which means this problem of incongruence of there is only one supreme power would be incongruent to there are multiple supreme powers, but as a matter of fact there may not be an incongruence, and I've just thought of this on the spot, is that if one power channels to other powers, even if it beats all those other powers, there's no incongruence. So incongruence is not something that belongs to higher powers, and this C is me solving the problem on the spot. Of course, then there's the incompatibility between somewhere that lies between congruence and incongruence. This compatibility is an unusual incompatibility, or this compatibility is an unusual compatibility, whichever you want to say. And so for the new year again, I would like to say that congruence is the transfer from one power to another power. Incongruence is simply the interference of the transmission or transference of one power to another power. I would like the statement of there is only one supreme power to be congruent to other statements, but in fact it is not congruent to other statements. It is only congruent to the powers that exist. So it is the transference of a statement to the higher powers. I do not wholeheartedly disagree with the statement that there could only be one power or one God, but it is not my personal agenda, it is not my personal belief. I would have to reflect on this further. If I reflect on this further,